They booked the retreat, with the kind of careful secrecy that should have set off alarms. A name under a fake email, a credit card that belonged to a friend, dates that matched a business conference she swore she had to attend. She kissed me goodbye in the kitchen like a woman who had rehearsed tenderness. I smiled and watched her leave, the suitcase rolling behind her like a secret she thought was clever. I had found the crumbs, the receipts, the pair of unfamiliar sunglasses tucked under the laundry basket, the thread on the collar of her coat that matched a scarf in a photo she'd deleted. Fury flared, then cooled into something sharper, strategy. If she wanted a secret, I decided, I would return the favor and make the truth go somewhere she could not hide it. In the bright, supposedly respectable place she had chosen to play it safe. Her getaway was a boutique mountain lodge 3 hours from town. It was the kind of place people went to drink artisanal tea and pretend they were simpler, purer versions of themselves. She posted a filtered photo halfway through the trip. Soft light, a cappuccino frothed into a heart, tagged with a caption about solitude and finding clarity. It was perfect. It was predictable. And it was public enough to be useful. I called the lodge pretending to be a travel writer doing a feature on romantic retreats. The woman at reception was warm and obliging. The manager loved a good story. I asked about private dining events. They had one that weekend, a charity dinner with a guest list that included a local councilman, 2 small-time influencers, and as luck would have it, a woman who liked dramatics and thought herself unassailable. I planted my trap like a craftsman assembling a clock. Invisible gears, slow burn. First, I booked a room under an alias. Close enough to the lodge to be on the guest list, but distant enough the staff would not suspect. Then I sent an anonymous gift. A congratulations on your engagement cake to be served at the dinner. I arranged for it to be a showpiece, 3 tiers tall, white as a veil, and inscribed with a message that would land like a hammer when it was time. To new beginnings, with love from him. I hired a photographer under the pretense of covering the event for the lodge's website, and gave him a discreet brief. Capture candid moments, especially reactions. Finally, I called the councilman's aide and left an offhand tip, anonymous, about a surprising guest of interest, who might appreciate a public moment, enough to ensure cameras would be there, and that whispers would ripple outward. On the night the trap closed, the lodge smelled of pine and brown butter. Candles glowed in mason jars. The charity plates were arranged like a promise of civility. She walked in with her scarf and that practiced smile, expecting the safe darkness of a crowd that didn't know her beyond the curated snapshots she offered the world. Instead, she stepped into a room that felt like a stage. People rose politely. The local paper's photographer adjusted his lens. The cake, absurdly theatrical, was wheeled forward with a small flourish. Guests rustled like dry leaves when the inscription was revealed. Someone laughed nervously. She froze. For a beat she did what she always did. Turned on charm like a switch, smoothing her voice, deflecting with jokes about cake designs. She held the center like a performer who believed applause would slow the truth. Then the photographer did his job in a way no staged portrait ever could. He snapped a sequence of images that showed not just her face but everything that led to it. Hands reaching under the table, a man emerging from behind a curtain. The way her laugh tilted toward him as if it belonged to a private film. The man she had been meeting walked in, as if arriving casually from a hike, wearing the same jacket he'd been seen in a photograph on her phone. He was not flamboyant. He looked as ordinary as anyone in a town where everyone pretended to be extraordinary. But ordinariness could be lethal in a room wired for spectacle. The whispers multiplied, then cohered into something loud and collective.